Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to this webinar being presented by ESS BIZTOOLS. I'm Peter Towers, the Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS, and today we're presenting offering business advisory services without having to commit to a contract. This is an opportunity for accountants because you can now pay your subscription for two of our leading products by just paying the monthly subscription without having to commit to a formal contract. We believe that the resources which we're going to discuss with you today will guide you in offering great services to your clients, services which will help them to add value. 95% of the firms that were interviewed by Accounting Market Pulse for their 2021 report identified that their strategy is to diversify their services. The firms that were interviewed were drawn from all over Australia and various size firms. So they're clearly committed to diversifying services. Is your firm going to diversify services? Have you started yet? Where do you want to start? ESS BIZTOOLS started this journey 22 years ago when I left a accounting career where I started as a sole practitioner and was part of building up a successful firm, 4 partners. But I decided I wanted to undertake consulting work, and part of it was the development of ESS BIZTOOLS. But prior to that, I'd been the Chief Financial Officer and Company Secretary of a listed public company. And that gave me a tremendous insight to the way that big companies operate businesses, in that they are continually looking at ways and means to improve the process. One of the big items that public companies look at is key performance indicators. They're very important for them, and I think they should be important for you and your clients. The use of the key performance indicators is to allow one period to be compared to another. And in my experience, we had some KPIs that were measured every hour, especially in retail environments. Others were daily, weekly, monthly, and some 3 monthly. But the analysis of those key performance indicators was a key role for the accountant working in that commercial environment. And let's look at what that commercial environment really is. Most public companies, I think, run themselves as a series of small businesses. They appoint an area manager, and normally the team that manager has comprises an accountant or an experienced administrator or bookkeeper, perhaps a marketing or promotional type person, and maybe a couple of clerical staff. And they are responsible for the supervision of 12 to 20 business units that the company has operating in a particular area or in a particular industry group. The role of the accountant there is to perform this commercial role, looking at key performance indicators, helping prepare the budgets for each individual operation, and then at the end of the month, doing further analysis. The budgets can include a very much ongoing detailed analysis, not taking last month's figures and adding, or last year's figures and adding a percentage. They go way back to the production forecast. What's going to happen? What's the marketing and sales team saying that they can successfully market and sell products to? And now that can be any type of products depending on your client's industry, of course. In my case, that industry was to do with livestock because we were a meat exporter and retail butcher shop operator throughout the eastern states of Australia. The labour team is then very important. What's the labour team that's going to be needed to produce the production that's been forecast, and what's it going to cost? What raw materials are necessary? And for raw materials, you could substitute other terms. In our case, it was livestock that we believe we could purchase at an appropriate price. Electricity and other fuel inputs, what are they going to cost? How much is required? Are we going to be able to get the supply? Which has become a very important question at present. What's the inventory build-up going to be? Because we're going to make this sort of production level. Is the sales manager confident he can sell that production? Is the shipping manager confident that it can be shipped to wherever the products have got to go? In our case, it was markets all over the world. So shipping was very important, but it's still important if you're only dealing in the Australian market. It's still got to be shipped and delivered to customers. What's the sales estimate that the sales department supplied? What marketing is going to be required? What input has the marketing manager made so that his or her estimates of costs are included in the budgets? What's the debtors analysis going to look like? What's the balance going to be? What's the debtors days outstanding? How does that compare to previous year's actual figures? Is it realistic? But can it be reduced? Because there's a lot of money tied up in debtors in most businesses. What's the wage budget going to be for the businesses? Everything been included? And then at the end of that process, the accountant, in conjunction with the local business unit manager, would be preparing the profit and loss forecast for the next 12 months on a month-by-month basis, or in some cases, a week-by-week basis as to what the estimate is. And then we could have the detailed cash flow forecast in some instances for that area that's under that area manager's responsibilities. In other cases, that might have gone through to head office and be incorporated within their forecasts. And projected balance sheets. Again, it could be for the local area operation. So the key work that the commercial accountant is doing is analysing the results with the managers and preparing the report for discussion at a monthly business review meeting, and perhaps coordinating that monthly business review meeting, acting as the facilitator. This is the type of services that I believe many SMEs are looking for. Are you interested in providing these services? I hope so, because that's what we're trying to achieve by having this conversation today. I think your clients in 2022 are looking for a broader range of services to assist them to grow their businesses, perhaps to scale up into a significantly larger business, but generally to run better businesses. Everyone's had a scare over the last couple of years, and the current developments in Europe are adding to those concerns. So I think as a profession, we should be offering the best possible services, commercial services, to help our clients succeed in their businesses. Not mark time, definitely not go backwards, but go forwards. Add value to their businesses, run strong businesses so that ultimately they're going to be able to sell that business when they wish to retire, so that they can retire with dignity. So let's go on and look at what we're going to be able to supply to you at ESS BIZTOOLS. We have two packages that we are offering whereby you would only pay us monthly. It's up to us to keep on supplying information and ideas and suggestions. And on that basis, I'm sure you will continue to pay your subscription because you'll see value. You'll see that you're able to sell these services to your clients. Because at the end of the day, the client's got to be happy with this because they're paying the bill. So the preparation package includes the business advisory training modules. There's 13 modules, very important. It's the place you should start with as you become a subscriber to ESS BIZTOOLS, and we'll help you with that. Then we've got 340 library papers that we've developed that you can badge and send to your clients. They might be an add-on to your professional advice, or it might be to try and get a client who you think could be very interested in research and development to have an understanding of it, or an understanding of how early stage innovation company works, or how crowdsourced funding equity raising works, or the services you could supply as a chief financial officer on a virtual basis to your clients. Ready to use webinars. You will get access to 12 webinars. We've got 35 in total in our series of webinars. You'll have 12 in the preparation package that you can utilize. Debtors management system. You know, Australia won a world record a couple of years ago that we had the longest debtors days outstanding in the world, and various reports I've read lately suggest that we still have it. That's a national disgrace. I think the accountancy profession's got a lot to do to get that very poor situation corrected. Why are our SME businesses carrying so much debt owed to them? There's millions of dollars tied up that could have been in the cash flow of all of our clients. I think we need to do something about it, and our package will help you do that because it really alerts your client to the investment they have in debtors and how it compares. I find a lot of people don't realize how many days debtors outstanding they have. I've had business people, very experienced business people, ask me, number one, what does it mean? Number two, how do you calculate it? I think accountants should be very conscious of this and making sure that our clients understand. We also have the SME Debtors Systems Manual, because I think one of the real problems with debtors management is that the poor person, and I use that word very wisely, I think, poor person, because invariably I find in a lot of offices that the person that's got the responsibility of debtors is the last employee that's been put on. It just seems to be a job no one else wants to do. So they palm it off to the newest employee with very little training. The purpose of the manual is that there will be a written system, because you have templates. You can then modify them to suit the client's business. If you're happy with the templates we've produced, you just badge it with the client's name and your name. But invariably, there might be some changes. There might be different terminologies used. So you can change them, you edit the material. But what it will do is give some sort of guidance to the person that's responsible for debtors. A lot of them have got no idea what the personal property security register is all about. Yet this is very important when it comes to debtors. So we have got some material there on it. I know the prime responsibility for whether a business should register on the PPSR is with the owner or the manager of the business. But I think it's a good idea for the person responsible for this work within the office to understand, so they'll understand why there's this emphasis on timing and getting documents prepared, signed, returned, so that registration can be made within the 21 days, which is about the average of what forms have to be lodged in. Survival in difficult times is a very interesting package. I originally wrote that 10 years ago after a cyclone and businesses were in trouble in Western Australia. But we've continued, we've updated it and made changes to it, because every year there's problems somewhere in Australia. Cyclones, bushfires, floods. We've had all of them quite regularly lately, haven't we? But there's always pockets of isolated problems in areas, in towns, because a major employer's been forced to close down or has had contractual difficulties or something. So the Survival in Difficult Times package has got 41 sections in it, which will give you material whereby you can sit down and analyse a client's business and start finding out where the problems are. And then we have got 41 articles that interlink with the survey forms, that if you have observed the problem with debtors management, for argument's sake, there's a little explanation article that you can put your name on and give to your client. And if your client's got questions about debtors management or cash flow management or a whole range of other things, you've got articles you can hand straight to your client. So it works effectively. And unfortunately, we've now made it a permanent part of the product offerings, because there always seems to be problems with in some areas in Australia. SME Needs Analysis, I think, is the most important document we have in our package. It was originally developed by Andrew Geddes, one of the joint founders of the Financial Management Research Centre at the University of New England. And with Andrew's permission, we've updated it over the years. So it's a document which facilitates you having a conversation with your client if you don't know where to start. And people tell me this is a problem. They don't really know where to start a conversation with a client because all you've ever talked to him about or her about is income tax. Well, this, I think, will help break the ice, because we've got a series of discussion points under about 40 different headings throughout that document. You pick which ones you think will apply to your client. You don't have to go through 40. You're a very rare client, you've got to go through that many. But what you're trying to find out is what's worrying the client. What's waking him or her up at 3 a.m? Why do they want to talk to you? And many of them will never have had this conversation with you. If you've been having those sort of conversations, that's great, congratulations. But there's a lot of clients out there tell me they've never had these types of conversations. Hopefully this will facilitate it. Sit down and have a cup of coffee, talk for an hour, maybe 2 hours. I guarantee you, you will get work from it, because the client will say, look, I've been worrying about my succession. I'm thinking of selling the business. I didn't know whether to ask you because I thought all you were interested in was taxation. I was going to talk to someone else. I was going to talk to a broker, but I really want you in my corner on this. This is what can come out of this sort of discussion. You can then coordinate. We've got a package on selling a business. So hopefully that helps. And we have our Business Plus newsletter. Each month we produce a newsletter which our subscribers upload on the second Friday, or download, we upload it on the second Friday of a month. They can download, put their badge on it, doesn't mention ESS BIZTOOLS after that, and send it to your client. Now, we produce that newsletter so it's a marketing communication tool for you to go to your client. It's an information resource for your clients. But I try to write articles under 6 separate sections. Someone who's looking at starting a business, buying a business, wanting to scale up, that's undertaken research and development or is thinking about doing it, wants to know what's the journey, what else can they get involved in? Or it's someone who wants to expand their business but hasn't got any assets or any favourite mother-in-law or favourite aunt that's going to give them a property to be able to mortgage for the bank. So they're asking questions about, can we raise capital? Can we raise capital as a crowdsource funding equity raising company? Or can we raise capital under Section 708 of the Corporations Act? So that's the sort of thing we're looking at in the Business Plus newsletter. And we encourage you to make contact with those clients who you've identified in those various categories. You've sent the newsletter to someone who's thinking about buying a business. Well, give them a ring. Do they need more information? Are they ready to go? Have they confirmed your appointment? The starter package includes everything that I've just gone through in the preparation package, but it includes more. buying a business, selling a business, which we just talked about, selling a business, complete templates to assist you to go through the whole process of selling a business, succession planning. Succession planning is a very complicated area, and we've got a full package which will assist you to have that conversation with your client and then to work out. And in some cases, succession planning might take 3 or 4 years, because you start the process, you ask the client what they think the business is worth. And how many times have you had it? The client says $2 million. And you think to yourself, I don't think it is. And you do your analysis and you come up at $1.1 million. So there's a gap. You can sit down and talk to the client and say, now, I think these are the changes that you need to make if you're going to get this business, so I could agree to value it at $2 million. There's a valuation gap of $900,000. At least you're having that conversation. In some cases, clients say, yes, let's do it. Let's put in your program for the next 2 years and we'll try to get the profitability up. We'll make the premises look smarter. We'll improve the team training so there's a lot more delegation within the business. Whatever the problems are that you've identified, with the assistance of our material, you can then help the client to implement. Tradies charge out rates. I've acted for a lot of tradies over the years and found that a lot of them just guess their charge out rates. They listen to what their mates are doing. Well, who says their mates are making a profit? And who says they've got exactly the same cost structure or productivity percentage of their team as their mate? So we have a product package. One of our subscribers uses that for 120 tradies each year. He told a market survey person that we engaged, 120. And because of that, he gets $5,000 to $7,000 more than what they were paying for their annual accounts and tax return from each of those 120 firms. Not a bad little income, is it? And what's been built into that, it's not all just for doing the charge out rate calculator, of course. Built into that is monthly accounts or quarterly accounts and a monthly or quarterly business review meeting where there's some real accountability. There's the opportunity to be able to change charge out rates, do some new calculations. For some reason, the productivity of a key person has dropped from 73% to 60% because of extra administrative duties that's been given to that person. Well, you need to change their productivity percentage. Professional firms charge out rates. Very similar to tradies, except in tradies, we've got a material markup calculation included. Retail pricing calculator. Have you ever sat down and tried to work with retailers? I did this in my public company environment. It was a real eye-opener. You've got all sorts of products, product packages. There's all sorts of markups. Some of those products are stars. Some are cash cows. You've got to have them, but you don't make much money out of them. Others are last year's fashion and no one wants that. And others is, who bought that rubbish type question. And they're trying to work that out. It brings into account having an honest discussion with the client about how they lay out their stores. Are they making it difficult for people to find the cash cow? So it takes them to, takes the customer to a location where you've got one of your great star products. Star products means you sell a fair bit of it, but you've got a good markup on it. Put the cash cow items alongside it. While they're there, they'll buy it. It might be the beautiful ham off the bone in a corner store, or it might be the fresh special bread that you've had manufactured. Doesn't matter. Unfortunately, I see a lot of these cash cow products all stuck around the cash register at the front of the store, whereas they should be hidden throughout the store. I think they should put their newspapers throughout the store when they're selling newspapers on a Sunday morning. It makes the customer go looking, and when they're looking, they might buy one of those star items. This is the role. If you're going to be offering business advisory services, I think you've got to adopt to help your clients. And then we got business health checks. We've got 5 industries where we've compared detailed package, and we're going to be adding a couple more this year for key performance indicator analysis and some benchmarking type analysis that suits that particular industry, so that your client can be comparing their figures. Because running a business is lonely, isn't it? We all know that. Why not try to give them the benefit of being able to do some things with it? So that's the overview of what's in this package. Your subscription, your investment, and it is definitely an investment, but we're not asking you to sign up to any sort of agreement with us. Your subscription for the preparation package is $129, including GST, and for the starter package is $197, including GST. So you want to know more? Well, you can go to our website, of course, and I'm now going to show you where you've got to go, because we will just show you. So I'm just going to share the screen. I'm going to bring it across for you to look at. And what I have now on the screen is the ESS BIZTOOLS website. I hope you've had the opportunity of having a look at it. We've done a lot of work on this, some of our subscribers from around Australia, and there's various material there that you are most welcome, of course, to look at. There's Andrew Geddes, who's been a strong supporter of this concept, because this is what the Financial Management Research Centre was created 40 years ago to try to create for accountants. A group of accountants who are committed to supplying, it wasn't called business advisory services back in those days, that's what we call it now. Andrew likes the terminology these days of business improvement services. I think he might be right, but the industry is generally calling it business advisory services. But if you want to subscribe, you go to this button here, subscribe, sign up here. We'll double click on that. We go through and we've got this page now, it's headed primary packages, and somehow or other I've gone too far there. I'm just going to go back. And in here, we've got the advanced package and the optimum package. They're our full top of the range products. But over here under the group product packages, we've got the preparation package and we've got the starter package. If you've decided you want to subscribe to one of those on a month-by-month basis, you just click there on subscribe now. We do still have a discounted 12-month package. If you're interested in it, you do the sums. There's a significant discount being factored into there and there. And you can elect to come in on that basis if you want. But our real pitch to you today is you only have to pay monthly. It's up to us to keep you very interested in supplying these types of services to your client. So I hope that that will be acceptable to you. So thank you very much for joining us in this webinar. If you want to talk to us, please contact us. I did have another slide, so I'll just bring that up if I may. And that will be it there. And if you want to talk to me, some people like the idea of having a conversation. We normally do it by a Zoom meeting, but in the first place, to finalise the arrangements, can you give me a phone call, please? 1-800-232-088, and we can have a 45-minute, no obligation Zoom meeting. And during that, I will listen to you. You tell me what your firm's size is and the type of clients you've got and where you're wanting to go. What is your vision? And I'll give you an overview of the type of services that ESS BIZTOOLS could provide to you. Then we'll send that as a proposal to you. It's up to you whether you accept or you don't. And I've already given you some of our contact details. If you want to send me an email, you're quite welcome. Just that most people these days like telephone calls, but send me an email if you wish, peter@essbiztools.com.au. You've got the telephone number, and there's our website. And our website for our grant program is www.essbizgrants.com.au. Please go there. You can trial 2 of your clients on that package just to see the magnitude of government grants that are out there for most industries in Australia at present. And that program includes federal, state and territory grants that a particular client might be interested in. So thank you very much for joining us in this webinar today. Please stay safe, and I look forward to hearing from you in the not too distant future. Have a great day. Goodbye.